Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is November the 1st, 2025. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. It's the first of the month. We're not going to start on the first. We're going to rewind it back though. We're going to rewind it back to Friday. And let's talk about Halloween. Halloween. Oh, anyway. Halloween was a good time. Friday night was a good time. So after podcasting, I go to Northside, and I gotta say, I was surprised at how busy everything was. And I'm sure people are thinking, as I'm saying this, like, well, no, duh, it's a Halloween, it's the holiday, da da da. But I think for me, it like sank in as the night went on that, oh, this is Halloween weekend on a Friday night. So like everyone is out and about. The kids are out at the like tail end of the evening doing the trick-or-treating and everything. Everyone is gonna be out. It is gonna be packed. Like you're getting everybody. So like Northside was pulsating. There was just so many people. So that definitely plays a factor for good and bad throughout the night. But overall, it was super cool to just see everybody out. It was obviously fun to see all the cool little costumes from the kids. And then, as the night went on, just seeing all the crazy costumes in general. I got to see a Columbo. I think that might have been my favorite. So that was, there's costumes galore. But anyway, started off though at the homie's house. We, corner up there. I actually have a few pieces of candy because they were doing some trick-or-treating for the kids. So, a fun, cool thing that was that the homies had in the trick-or-treat bowl were Skyline crackers, which I got some of those, and some dots. I was really feeling some dots. I like some old people candy sometimes, for sure. But we start at the house, chill real quick, head out, get some food. We go to Chameleon, which is, where we usually start off at, right? I order 3 slices. Like I said, the pizza is back. We were back on S tier pizza slices. There was a potato leek pizza for the veggie. I got one of those, got a slice of the pepperoni, and I would say the star slice. It was this pulled pork. I think it had so much on it. I don't want to like get the wrong thing or the wrong things on it in terms for the description, but it was a grade A slice. I got it when my friends got it. Just amazing. It's just like pulled pork on a pizza. Like let's go. It was so yummy. And that was the Bianca. And I got an order of Cajun fries. So I ate all of that. Plus, another homie had some Cajun fries. They looked even better than my Cajun fries. I was a little jealous, but they were caked up. They were they were looking just delicious. And they didn't want to finish them all. So I had a couple of those with like extra cool condiments that they got. They got like the spicy ketchup. They had an aioli, and they had some kind of yummy mustard. And all 3 were banging. So yeah, I ate way too good, and I was punished for that. Pretty much throughout the night. But from there, we went to Northside Tavern, and we were hanging out there for a good chunk of the night. There was like performances in the back, like live shows and stuff in the back, and it was all these bands that came together to do like really cool covers. Like there was one group that came through to do like a bunch of Rage Against the Machine covers. Another one that my friend and I were really excited about was a Frank Ocean group that was doing like Frank Ocean covers. It was really sick. So, we had some drinks, we were kicking it, and then we went in to, see that. And that's when I would say my one big problem kind of hit for me. My stomach just gave out. Like I just felt so bad physically. And I've definitely I have this mode, especially now that my friends have given me like a key to the house, so that I can always just like, hey, you don't have to knock, you don't have to call, you can just you can pop on in, which is that's family shit. I love that. But I use this now whenever I'm in one of those, gestational emergencies, if you will. Because I don't yes, the people who know me, they know when nature calls, I will answer the call anywhere. I'm not going to hesitate at the end of the day. But truly, if I could, do my business, where I feel most comfortable, then that's what I want to do. That's me. That's me on a plate, okay? That's me in a nutshell. Whatever. Maybe me on a plate is not good in this context. My bad. But, so yeah, and also the walk is not far from where we do our little bar hop thing. So I'm just like, yeah, let me take the maybe 8 to 10 minute walk tops and then go to a place where I feel much more comfortable. And that would be much better for me. So that's what I did. Also, too, I was just, from the previous episode, the day before, I didn't, I just didn't know how my stomach was going to be. Like, I'm already like, oh, I'm having stomach problems, like, on a Friday night when I'm out. That's not normal. So I just didn't want to have a moment, especially in a bar bathroom. No thanks. So I took a little break from the action, which was a bummer because like it was mid the Frank Ocean cover set, and I was like and it was banging. I got to hear like a couple of songs, so at least I got that. But I come back. And this is when I think I kind of realized, oh my God, there are so many people here. Like that was obviously apparent, and it was cool, like I said, to run into some people I haven't seen in a while and stuff like that. Awesome. Love that. But man, golly, it just was like overwhelming. I felt overstimulated. I think, the other homies kind of felt the same. So we're like, okay, let's go to our last bar. Let's go to Junkers. And we went over to Junkers, and, also, there's another thing I didn't really mention here that I feel like plays a factor for me is when we were at Chameleon, like when we got out and we were waiting for food, we initially like to eat outside, especially if the weather's fine. There was one person who was so like bombed out and bless their heart, they're just having a good time. I'm not trying to throw shade or anything. I think my friends, they try to be accommodating as well. We like to be an open, cool group when we can, right? But like this person was way too bombed out. And pretty much I just saw my friends filter in, like just like one at a time. And I took the cue from them and I'm like, okay, you just gotta be mindful. There's a lot of people out. So anyway, fast forward back to, going to Junkers. We immediately, we walk over there and then some guy comes up to me and is talking to me specifically. And I just get caught in the worst yap trap. Like they're segueing from complimenting me to about my boots, which they called loafers, which I thought was a strange clock, but whatever, it doesn't matter. And, I'm being nice to them. I'm saying, oh, okay, I like your shit too, hell yeah. But then they proceed to trauma dump on me, like in the middle of a, like, like, it's Halloween. What are we doing? Like, no, I'm not, my costume is not a therapist. Why are we doing this? Also, I didn't talk about my quote unquote costume. I guess I should take the time to mention this here. I pretty much wore a trench coat, and I had a Bass Pro hoodie on, and then I had my green track pants, and I had red Doc Martens on. And I also had a red beanie. This is a callback to an old outfit that I wanted to run like a year or two ago that got me made fun of at every place I went to. And it ended at my friend's house with someone saying, hey, this dude looks like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle undercover thing. And I was just like, no, man, don't say that, man. That's fucked up, man. So it was very much an inside joke amongst some of my friends. So I decided that was like the Michelangelo one when I did it the first time because I had an orange beanie. So I have a red beanie on, and I was just like Raphael, whatever. That was essentially my costume. People were like, are you Castiel? Are you Columbo? I'm like, sure, yeah, whatever. Like, I'm not big on costumes, y'all. I'm just doing what I can. So anyway, back to this fucking weird situation. And I'm just like, okay, man. And then one of my friends comes and saves me, just mercy style, like, from Overwatch, just gets me out of the pit. I'm like, thank God, thank you so much. All right. And then, we're doing activities. We're doing hood rat activities. We're all like hanging out, doing doing chill things that you can do legally in Ohio. And that was a vibe. That was nice. So like we're good. once again, there's still a lot of people. We take a quick break, go back to the house, and then come back out. And, once again, proceed to have a good time. There's an afters. We go to an afters real quick at another person's house. This is where I have a wholesome moment for myself because I got to run into my rival. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. This guy's 35. Why is he talking about having a fucking rival? Look, life's too short and it's good to have things that motivate you, all right? And I had this thing that I've been wanting, like there's this friend that I keep running into, and over time, we've just developed a very, like, competitive kind of camaraderie. And like the last time we had talked, they're like, you always get so hype about like doing these little games or whatever. It's like you just want to win so bad. And at the time I couldn't explain to them why I was so hype about like playing rock, paper, scissors or like this, that, and the third, or having like spirited debates about blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. And I finally was able to explain it to them. I was like, hey, you're my rival. And they were like, I know. And I was like, let's fucking go. And then we proceeded to play rock, paper, scissors. And they have been beating me for like a long time. They're up like just so hard against me. So that's another reason I want to play against them because I want to catch up. And I'm like, you're better than me at this stupid game and I want to beat you. And I won. I got my set. I won my set. I was like, so excited. I put up a custom game too. And I won that game. So, hey, I'm catching up. All right. I'm right. Score one for Big Blue. Okay. Which apparently I'm blue and they're red, and that makes me sad too because I would rather be red in that situation. Once again, if you know, you know. But yes, we had a good time from there. It was really actually a short thing, unfortunately. We get out of there. We do backyard beers for, I want to say like about an hour or so. It's pretty cold. We're pretty tired. We go in. We have what is it? We have some food, some little late night eats, which is crazy because my stomach has been barking like the whole night. Like I was able to go to, the facilities, but it wasn't enough. Like, and honestly, into the next day, I still have been having like stomach issues, but it's been all good. But we go in and, let's see, I know I had, some sourdough bread and that was good. There's another thing that I ate, but in the moment now, I am not remembering what it was. But, just some like tasty little low-key eats to kind of close out the night with some wrestling. So yeah, it was a vibe. It was a good time. I wake up, after taking a little bit of a nap, get home, get some more sleep in me. And then I wake up and I'm like, okay, it's Saturday. It's the first of the month, it's, November 1st. Awesome. Love that. And I am just determined to kind of have a chill day and play some card games online, do my little cozy, chill gamer vibe stuff for like about, I don't know, an hour or two. Then we go to the gym. I have a pretty good gym session. I enjoyed that. Pretty much a heavy day. We do the Smith machine. We do free weights. Got on all my equipment, so we love that. And of course, got the core in, do an hour of cardio, and we were good to go. So yeah, that was solid. We get home, we have our little snacky poo, and then and mind you, as I'm getting my snack together, I had already realized even though I got a good amount of sleep, I'm getting tired again. Okay, let me get some coffee. Let me put some espresso in that thing. And I kind of giggled to myself because as I'm setting all this up, because I have like this big snack, I'm setting up the coffee, and I'm like, I know I'm going to eat all this, drink this coffee, and I'm going to go to sleep. I just knew that. I knew that was going to happen. And I think it's like, I don't know, 6 or 7 o'clock. And, sure enough, I get all the stuff set up for the episode. I have my snack, I have my coffee, and then I crawl into bed and I go to sleep. And I think I sleep till about 9. Yeah, wake up around, 9, and then I'm kind of in bed till about 10. So yeah, that's been the day. That's been a bit of the day. So that's why this episode is coming in a bit late. Honestly, I'm saying a lot of Saturday. It's probably going to be Sunday by the time this is uploaded. So it goes. I know I'm talking a bit long, but hey, it's a Halloween holiday recap. It's a Saturday, recap, so what it is. Thank you for bearing with me. And we have a lot of reading to do. So it's going to be pretty much a read along episode, if I'm being honest. So let's not dilly dally. Let's not shilly shally. And I got, guess what? A roll call. Whoosha. That's not what we did. I don't know, but there's no sound effects. It was they're made to order. Let's go ahead and do the roll call. Take a water break, and then we'll get into some news. We'll get into the, startup. All right. All right. Whew. Starting up at the top. Stephanie Renee, Edward Haas, Mama Bear, Aaron Walden, and then Kira Finsky, which I usually don't mention, but we talked the other day, and they're like, oh yeah, you can mention me. And then also, we're going to do a little bit of, shout-outs, little extra shout-outs for them. Nail Amethyst is where she, is the page that I'll try to put a link in this, in the bio, in the little description thing. And, you can click to see, some of her work. You can see the nails. She does amazing nails. I'll be sharing them on Facebook, and they're really fucking awesome. And then shout out to her fiance, my bestie, my homie, Ryan. He's in a band, Sculptor. It's like a metal psych, fucking, how do I describe it? But yeah, metal post rock, it's fucking cool. Definitely I'll put the link there as well. And then also a couple of my other friends are in that band as well. Shout out to Anthony, shout out to Big Jim. But yeah, I'll do better on, doing these shout outs. It's the first time I've actually had someone actually use that, but I'm glad, you know what I mean? Like I said, this is the full power of being a newsie. I plug your projects. Like I said, these are cool projects, y'all. So yeah, definitely check them out, and support the homies. Support my homies. Anyway, let's see here. What else is there? That is pretty much it on the business end. Let's go ahead and do our startup, and let's get into some news. I was actually talking to a coworker the other day, and they're like a big Iron Maiden fan. So they go to see, as many shows as they can. They're in like a fan club to get like pre-tickets and all they yada, blah, blah, blah. And, I like Maiden as well. I'm a fan. So we talk about that kind of stuff when we can. And they were saying the issue they were having was they were trying to get onto like one of the tours, or to go see Maiden the year. Maiden's pretty old. They're still touring. You want to see them when you can, right? And they said they were trying to do it, and they get a special pre-waiting room where they can get tickets early access. They were trying to do that, and they literally just couldn't. Like the site kept crashing, super long waits, even though they were there early. And they weren't able to get their tickets, not for, where they initially wanted to. And then their secondary destination, they're like, oh, I'll try to make it happen and go there. Couldn't do it. And I'm like, damn, dude, that sucks. Like, you're in this fan club. You're paying extra money for that. You're paying all this money for the ticket in general. And they're like, yeah, man, it sucks. But like, hey, at least I do have the situation where I can like see, like a tribute band, where, they'll do Iron Maiden songs, do the covers and stuff. And that's fun. And, I guess it's still, I think he said at this point they've kind of gotten known enough, so it's a little bit pricier than your average. But, I kind of, from my perspective, I'm like, yeah, man, I do love going to shows for sure. I remember when I was younger, I used to see, some here or there, went to Warped Tour once. That was fucking cool. But, truly now in my 30s, a lot of what I like to do in terms of any kind of music, live music, is just seeing local. So, that's why I'm happy to shout out my friend's band, because they really fucking rock. And, it's cool to see your friends and, have a beer at a bar, hopefully you like, and, just have a good time. It's a vibe. Anyway. Okie dokie. From the BBC. Tanzania president wins election as hundreds fear dead in unrest. President Samia Sahulu, I'm fucking this up. President Samia Sahulu Hassan has been declared the winner of Tanzania's presidential election, securing another term amid days of unrest across the country. Samia won 98% of the votes in Wednesday's poll, the Electoral Commission said. In her Saturday victory speech, she said the election was free and democratic, accusing protesters of being unpatriotic. Opposition parties rejected the results, calling the vote a mockery of democratic process, as Samia's main challengers have been either imprisoned or barred from running. International observers have expressed concern over the lack of transparency and widespread turmoil that has reportedly left hundreds of people dead and injured. The nationwide internet shutdown is making it difficult to verify the death toll. The government has sought to play down the scale of the violence, and authorities have extended a curfew in a bid to quell the unrest. Receiving her victory certificate on Saturday, Samia, 65, said, "We thank the security forces for ensuring that the violence did not stop voting. The government strongly condemns the violent incidents. These incidents were not patriotic at all," she said. Earlier on Saturday, Electoral Commission Chief Jacobs Imwabegle declared Samia the winner of the presidential election. Samia secured about 31.9 million votes, or 97.66% of the vote, with turnout nearing 87% of the country's 37.6 million registered voters, the electoral chief said. In Tanzania's semi-autonomous archipelago of Zanzibar, which elects its own government and leader, CCM's Hussein Imwani, who is the incumbent president, won with nearly 80% of the vote. The opposition in Zanzibar said there had been massive fraud. The Associated Press news agency reported. Imwani's swearing-in ceremony is underway at Aman Complex Stadium in Zanzibar. No protests were reported on Sunday morning, but tension remained high in Dar es Salaam, where security forces manned roadblocks across the port city. On Friday, demonstrators at Dar es Salaam and other cities took to the streets, tearing down Samia posters and attacking police and polling stations, despite warnings from the army chief to end the unrest. The demonstrations are mostly led by young protesters who have denounced the election as unfair. They accuse the government of undermining democracy by suppressing the main opposition leaders. One is in jail, and another was excluded on technical grounds. A spokesperson from the opposition Chadema party on Friday told AFP news agency that around 700 people have been killed in clashes with security forces, while a diplomatic force in Tanzania told the BBC there was credible evidence that at least 500 people had died. Foreign Minister Mahmoud Kambo Tibet, had described the violence as a few isolated pockets of incidents here and there, and said security forces acted swiftly and decisively to address the situation. In a statement, the UN chief Antonio Guterres said he was deeply concerned about the situation in Tanzania, including reports of deaths and injuries during the demonstrations. He urged all parties to prevent further escalation. The UK, Canada, and Norway have expressed similar concerns, citing credible reports of a large number of fatalities and significant injuries as a result of security response to protests. There were two main opposition contenders, Tundu Lissu, who is being held on treason charges, which he denies, and Lunga Mpina of the ACT Wazalendo party, but he was excluded on legal technicalities. 16 fringe parties, none of whom have historically had significant public support, were allowed to run, which, that's very convenient. Also, another thing too, I wanted to get before I forget, or to say before I forgot, is that any I listened to some interviews on the way home, and any spokesperson from the party, the government party, was essentially saying like, oh yeah, we just don't know any of the numbers for the death tolls. And it's like, and you'd have like the reporters asking them, like saying, hey, but like you're a government official, like, and we're talking about like medical hospitals who are saying there's a lot of people here who are dying. You're saying you can't get any kind of like approximation or whatever. And they're like, oh, we're just working. We're doing the best we can. This is really, really crazy. And it's like, that just does not play well when it's like, that even at international level, people are saying this does not look good. It looks like people are being, killed, injured, for coming out and saying, hey, this is wrong. Let's see here. Let's keep going. Ahead of the election, rights groups condemned government repression, with Amnesty International citing a wave of terror involving enforced disappearances, torture, and extrajudicial killings of opposition figures. The government has rejected the claims, and officials said the election would be free and fair. Samia came into office in 2021 as Tanzania's first female president following the death of President John Magufuli. So yeah, I figured I'd just read through all of this because Tanzania is not a place that we've really talked about a lot. It's not a place that I know a lot about. So I just figured, hey, let's let the article do most of the talking. Definitely this feels very dubious. This kind of goes in line with any kind of authoritarian behavior that you see in a democracy. And it's like, oh, okay, cool, but you're not slick. You're just trying to get away with it here. So yeah, it's unfortunate to see. We'll definitely come back to the area if I hear any more stories, about the situation in Tanzania, post-election and everything. But yeah, also, this came to me as I was reading. The other thing that I ate, like I said, I had the 2 pieces of sourdough. I also had some string cheese, and then I had a plain bagel with blueberry cream cheese, if I'm not mistaken. But that's important. Y'all know I love bread, all right? And it was toasted. All of that, all them things. Anyway, all right, let's go to the UK. Let me take another water break. Stay hydrated. From CNN, multiple people stabbed on train in England. 2 arrested. 2 people have been arrested after a number of people were stabbed on a passenger train in Cambridgeshire, England, on Saturday, police said. Officers from British Transport Police, or BTP, were at the scene in the town of Huntingdon. We are currently responding to an incident on a train to Huntingdon. Huntingdon? Oh, it's Huntingdon. I'm sorry. It's Huntingdon, not Huntington. Where multiple people have been stabbed. Said BTP. I don't know why I keep saying it wrong. Too many B's. Said in a post on social media, Huntingdon Station is closed following the incident. The Cambridgeshire police said they had deployed armed officers to Huntingdon Station. In a statement on X, the police said they were called at 7:39 p.m. With reports that multiple people have been stabbed in the train. A number of people have been taken to the hospital, the police added. Cambridgeshire police said the incident was still ongoing and urged the public to report any information they have to colleagues at BTP who are leading the investigation. The rail company that operates trains on East Coast Main Line, London, North Eastern Railway, or LNER, said in a statement on X that it was experiencing major disruption across the LNER route. Emergency services are dealing with an incident at Huntingdon Station. All lines are blocked. Our advice is do not travel. Please defer your travel where you can, the company said. Let's see here. 2 suspects have been immediately arrested and taken into custody. Mahmood said she's receiving regular updates on the investigation and urged people to avoid speculation at this early stage as to what is behind the stabbings. And that is British Home Secretary Sabina Mahmood. But yeah, the East Coast Main Line is one of the UK's busiest and most important railway routes. It connects major cities, running from London's King's Cross to Edinburgh, Waverley in Scotland. So yeah, this was a pretty big development. Don't have many details in terms of motivation. I know I have a picture of the two. Oh no, that's actually for this one. Sorry, I don't have a picture for this one. But any details I get, we'll come back. Next story is from CBS News. Explosion at Harvard Medical School building deemed intentional. Police see two suspects. Those two suspects are in the thumbnail. They are masked up. Police say an explosion inside a building on the Harvard Medical School campus in Boston early Saturday morning appears to have been an intentional act. No injuries have been reported from the explosion. Investigators have released photos of two suspects they say were involved in the incident. The Harvard University Police Department said that just before 3 a.m., an officer was dispatched to the Goldenson building on Longwood Avenue in Boston for a fire alarm activation. When the officer arrived to investigate, they saw two people running from the building. The officer tried to stop the two people, but was unable to identify them or prevent them from leaving. Police have since released surveillance photos that show two suspects with their faces covered inside the building. The public is being asked to help identify them. The officer later went to the floor where the alarm had been triggered and found that an explosion had happened on the fourth floor. The Boston Fire Department arson unit was also called to the scene. An initial assessment found that the explosion appears to have been intentional. Officers from the Boston Police Department then swept the building to search for any additional devices. No other devices were discovered. A spokesperson for the FBI said they are on the scene following the explosion. We're assisting our partners at the Harvard University Police Department, and we're going to decline further comment at this time. We'll refer to the Harvard University Police Department, the FBI spokesperson said. The Harvard University Police Department is investigating the blast along with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. Let's see here. So yeah, that was something I didn't see coming, and I was like, okay, yeah, we'll talk about these two guys and these shiesties, blowing up Harvard. I guess I don't know, but more details when I get them. But yeah, since it is the first, I did mention that if there wasn't going to be any motion to either stop the shutdown or actually assist in keeping SNAP funding from the government, or keeping SNAP funded, I guess I should say, I don't know, then we were going to come and do a bit of a update, that's not a word, update on, the fate of SNAP, now that it is the first. So yeah, let's go ahead and do our last break, and then we will snap into it. Sorry. Ay, ay, ay. Alrighty. From ABC News. SNAP benefits run dry as government shutdown continues. Here's how states are stepping in. Beginning Saturday, some 42 million low-income Americans, including 16 million children, lost access to benefits through the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, as the government shutdown continues. The Department of Agriculture has said that funding for this month's benefits, which it says comes to about $9.5 billion, has run dry. A federal judge in Rhode Island temporarily ordered the Trump administration on Friday to continue SNAP funding, following a lawsuit by several states. Another judge in Boston ruled that the Trump administration's attempt to suspend SNAP funding is unlawful, but declined to immediately order the program to be funded. Trump said Friday that his administration's lawyers are not sure they have the legal authority to pay for SNAP during the government shutdown, and said he has asked for clarity from the courts in the wake of the two recent decisions. I find this to be very rich because you never see Trump have any kind of timidity or, hesitation to move for the things that he wants to keep open in these kind of situations. Like, he's been very adamant that military and law enforcement are going to stay funded and they're going to get their money and they're going to get the things that they need. But something like this, that is literally food in people's mouths, food in children's mouths, he goes, man, it's just, there's a lot of legalities. I gotta talk to my guys, gotta talk to my legal team and see what we can do. Like, man, you could move some mountains here to make sure that, at least from at a federal level, once again, that like SNAP is getting something better than nothing, right? You could push on your Republicans to say, hey, let's just end this shutdown. Let's just make this fucking shit happen. We can make some yada yada concession. No, but you're choosing not to, right? And it's weird that you're acting all like, I wish you could just do something. Like, exactly what the fuck you can and can't do here. Or exactly where you want to push and where you don't, and you're saying on this one, we don't really want to. If we are given the appropriate legal direction by the court, it will be my honor, he put that in caps, to provide the funding, just like I did with military and law enforcement pay, Trump said in a social media post. Once again, didn't have any fucking confusion or hesitation doing shit there. But here, my hands being tied and everything. The administration has used the funds for other services to fund military pay during the shutdown. SNAP has traditionally been entirely federally funded, but is administered by states. That means the shutdown's impact on SNAP and when benefits will start to become unavailable will vary by state. Excuse me. Some states have initiated their own contingency plans using their own funding in most cases to keep their SNAPs running. I'm sorry. Here's a list of what states have announced so far. And I'm not going to go through all of the states individually. I'm just going to maybe focus on Ohio before we go out. Let's see here. It's also worth noting, too, that Trump is kind of playing coy and the administration is kind of playing coy in terms of saying, hey, we don't even know if we're going to give you any kind of back pay on this when we get it back up, too. So, just be aware, be prepared for that. Granted, that doesn't seem legal, but once again, he just goes, we don't know. I think also, too, it was his administration in the first term that even made this a thing in the first place in terms of an issue, you have to kind of keep these things running. And he goes, maybe not. But anyway, Ohio, $25 million in state funding will be used to offset SNAP losses. GOP Governor Mike DeWine said after he signed an executive order on October 30th. As part of the order, as much as $18 million in emergency relief benefits will be given to Ohio residents who are at or below 50% of the federal poverty level. $7 million will also be donated to food banks. Obviously, I feel like at this point, we all kind of have to just look after each other. That's kind of the best you kind of get in terms of mutual aid more times than not. Silver linings, I guess you can just say, is at least it's been nice from my perspective to see people, in social media saying, hey, you can come to get food here. There are places who are offering food and stuff like that, So, hopefully people are staying fed. Hopefully children are still getting the food and stuff that they need. It's so wild that we're doing this, over political posturing, So I hopefully we see some changes soon. But I think, for me, my fear is that this is going to ride out at least until Thanksgiving. And then who knows, maybe even it might even go further. I think I personally would be, in quotations, surprised if it did. But we'll see. Obviously, I will keep you abreast of anything I hear coming out of Capitol Hill on that front. But yeah, that is all I have for today. That's going to be the episode. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, become a newsie today. Go ahead and get on that roll call. Also, like I said, if you want me to plug some shit, and in this situation, I definitely want to make up for lost time. Just plug a couple of things for the homie there. But feel free, hit me up. Say, hey, actually, I got a thing that I do. I would love for you to, plug that. Awesome, I got you. And then, for any new people, yeah, that's what we do around here. That's how the newsies rock. That's how we roll, see? But no, freeways to hit me up, isaiahnews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube, follow on TikTok, follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. Let's see, leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. It can be fun. Let's see here. 5 stars on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple Podcast, which kindly helps out a lot. And then, but even if you don't do that, it's just cool that you listen. It's nice that you like to keep up with my Joneses. Let me hang out with you while you're driving around, while you're walking through the city. I don't know. You're on a road trip. Whatever you're doing, thank you for allowing me to just hang out and be in your ear hole while you do it. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.